Today we're going to talk about this new document called Unrepresented Buyer Addendum for Sellers of Century 21 Homestar and instructions to the escrow agent. So what this document is going to be used for is to remind our sellers of what they signed off on their exclusive right to sell when we listed their property as far as unrepresented buyers. So just as a reminder, this is your exclusive right to sell right here. Yes, they have the fees that they're going to pay Homestar for the listing. And then section number 5 has the unrepresented buyer and fees that you negotiated with them at the time of the listing for if that unrepresented buyer comes to you, how much additional they would pay. But we want to make sure that they're reminded of that and that they actually sign off on that so that there's no discrepancy when they get to the closing table saying, hey, you changed my fee. My fee to you was only supposed to be such and such, and now it's this. So we did have lawyers create this and give it to us, and we thought it was a good idea to use it so there's no coming back on you or us later in the seller, having sour grapes or what have you. So when you have an unrepresented buyer come to you from your listing, Zillow, Realtor.com, or anywhere, they're going to sign that unrepresented buyer agreement, which basically says that you work for the seller, you don't represent them, and your loyalty is to the seller, right? You're going to help them with all the things that they need to do, but you're not going to advocate for them, give them advice or anything like that. So that gets you tied to that buyer so that you can help them with the documents. As far as the seller goes, you're going to still advocate for your seller and do everything that you can for your seller too. But when it comes to the commission, you get paid extra to help that unrepresented buyer. And that's where on your listing agreement that comes into play. Remember that. Okay, so this document says, and this will be signed by your seller when you have your offer. So you'll do all your offer documents with the buyer and everything, and they want to accept that offer. You're going to present this to the seller and say, okay, I just want to remind you of what our exclusive right to sell said, because this is an unrepresented buyer. That section is going to come into play now. So you're going to have the complete property address listed at the top. And then on line 7, you're going to put the purchase agreement date, so the day that they're signing the purchase agreement. On line number 9, it says, in pursuant to the terms of the seller's exclusive right that they signed dated this day, the seller hereby instructs the title company. If you have the escrow officer's name, that's great. You can put that there too. As identified in the purchase agreement, that the commission is payable to Century 21 Homestar through the escrow closing and shall be, this is the list side plus the unrepresented buyer side totals. This increases the commission, right? And then on line 13, you're going to put the percentage there. So you're going to add both line items 3 and 5 from your listing agreement and put them there. So if we look at line 3, that's the commission that they're paying to Century 21 Homestar on the listing agreement. This particular example has 4. In line 5, which is unrepresented buyer, and this particular example has 3. So you would add the 3 and the 4 together and it would be 7. On my example here, I just put a 5 in here, just so I had numbers on there. But you're going to use the numbers from your listing agreement. This is what they signed off on. The sellers are then going to sign it, and then you'll have that in your pile to go to the title company along with their escrow letter. So those will comply and look the same, and you'll have it over in your documents over to Homestar. So where we have an exclusive buyer broker compensation agreement, which says how the buyer's agent's going to get paid for that side, we have the unrepresented buyer agreement now that shows that the seller's going to pay us for an unrepresented buyer when we have a listing. This again is going to back you up and back the office up so that the seller can't come back to us later. We just want to make sure everybody is covered and things are clear and transparent. according to all the lawsuit stuff and everything. So if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're always here for you, and I'll talk to you soon.